cool to say, which is the reason why I'm saying it's a psyop. Now, with you, you're speaking about specific things that you're dealing with anecdotally, right? That's fine and dandy. I'm not gonna, have an argument against your anecdotal experience, but you still choose, as a landlord, you still choose to purchase homes and rent to people in certain areas where you know that there's going to be black people, where you know that there's going to be different cultures mixing, where you know that there's going to be some tension. So this is why I asked you, do you think that you would experience these same type of problems if you rented out if you purchased a home and rented it out where it was in a white area where the community was very poor? It was a white, poor town. Do you think that you would still have these complaints with other races living in that white, poor town, or just amongst white people themselves?
All right, let me explain it by saying this. So you contrasted it with a white poor town, you say, in inner city. Okay, so here's the thing. So in a white poor town, there aren't many government protections if they don't pay their rent, right?
Wait, time out. You said that in a white poor town, there aren't any government protections if they don't pay their rent?
The way they are in the inner cities. If you try to evict someone in DC legally, you're talking about a 2-year process, right? So the lowest of the low, the dregs of society know this. Inherently, they know this.
Okay, well, that's that's in DC, right? So it's going to be different depending on what county and what state you're in. You know what I mean? That's going to be different. Okay. But you didn't really answer my question though.
Well, I can't really answer that one because I'm not white. I've never dealt with white poor trash in Alabama.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you. So here's the thing. Once again, you're coming from a landlord perspective, and we're speaking about things that's very anecdotally and specific to your situation, right? Like I said, this is the things that you're going through as a tenant, and you can see that. Well, I get a lot of complaints from my white tenants, and
I'm muted. Damn. Does anybody really believe this guy really believes his shit?
Oh, he's just like freaking Sharon, dude.
Yeah, he babbled too much. I zoned out. I zoned out. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Saying it because them defending it makes other simps that are watching pay him to keep defending and acting this way and repeating this shit. It's all a facade, John. They're playing characters. Like, John, I admit I'm playing like partially a character. It's just me leveled up to 10. But like the thing is like these people go out there and act like, oh, well, I'm legitimately like this on my everyday life. That I believe these things and I actually.
But these people, like, I didn't know he had a white girlfriend. Doesn't really matter to me, but I do find it interesting considering. And then he's he probably lives in a white neighborhood. And here he is trying to defend these people he's run from. That's what I do not understand. Why the need to defend them?
That's the audience.
Yeah, it's the audience. That's the grift. That is the grift.
Even your chat saying he's a grifter, he's been a millennial. Yeah, we can all see it.
That's the grift.
It is true that the black tenants that I have, they be negligent. They be wilding out. They're not really considerate of the people that they're living next to, as white people are. I get that, right? And once again, this would be because of culture, and culture is the values that you have within the culture, and that it would also be with the income level of where you're living at as well. Like how much money people are making. If they're living in poverty, then it's like, with poverty comes more negligence, comes more crime, comes more stuff like that. That's normally what happens, right? The point.
See, I could have interrupted and said, no, poverty doesn't necessarily breed crime, but you have to let these people go.
What I want to get to is the whole black fatigue thing, which is a myth, right? Because once again, if it's just complaints, all people have complaints. And I would say black people for white people, I would say we have more complaints. I would say this, white people told us, stop complaining. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop complaining. You're not a victim. Think about it. this means that black people been suffering fatigue. Like, whether if it was real or some of it was mental, which is the victim mindset, right? Which I am totally opposed of the victim mindset. I think that those black people need to overcome that state of mind because it's not conducive to anything good. True? But if it's the case that if it's just about complaints and we can bring up some stats, I already gave you mad stats. Not only that, if it's just complaints, black people been complaining the longest. This is why there's a term called when the victim mindset, when you say it, you don't think of a white person, you don't think of a Asian, you don't think of a Mexican or an Indian. When someone says the victim mindset, you go straight towards black people. This is how much black people been complaining. So if there is a thing of white fatigue, there is also, if there's a thing of black fatigue, there's also a thing of white fatigue. And I would say that a lot of the white people that complain about this, they just suffering from the victim mindset. They're suffering from the same thing that black people suffer from. Oh,
Jesus Christ. He's been going on and on for a while here, but he's finally getting around to white people.
John, can I say one thing real quick, if I may, real quick? He said white fatigue. No one has white fatigue. There's only one white fatigue. It's called liberalism. Liberals is the fatigue that we all have. I don't like white liberals. They make me sick. They actually causing more problems. But the black fatigue is a thing too. I think it's like the white liberal and the black together is a fatigue.
How does he explain that the entire $13 trillion real estate market is literally based off of getting away from a certain ethnic group?
Someone says, when did he flip like this? I don't know. I'm not very familiar with his show, so I can't really speak on his show or anything like that.
Shoved a butt in that picture, John.
It's because the red pill is dying. If you notice,
Exactly.
all the big red pill content creators are going political. He's going pro-black, fresh and fit with conservative. Prepare yourselves.
What about that